We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Trans Minnesota lawmaker Lee Fink says critics misrepresented her HF 1434 remarks. She denied describing pornography as educational for LGBTQ youth.
Malaysia blocked Grindr and Blued, citing morality laws. Authorities review broader restrictions on LGBTQ+ dating platforms amid criminalization of same-sex activity.
Out-influencer couple Toby and Mikey Perryman-Payne describe being drugged, blacking out, and escaping an alleged assault in LA. Social media shows support.
The Williams Institute report warns that federal surveys removed SOGI questions after Donald Trump's executive orders threatening LGBTQ research, policy, and visibility nationwide.
Trump spotlighted a Virginia teen's case condemning schools over gender transitions without parental consent, as advocates warn of forced outing policies.
All this important LGBTQ news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family.
There's no other news program like the LGBTQ family like Queer News Tonight.
It is Thursday, February 26th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Hotspots Happening Out is a proud beneficiary of the 2026 Florida AIDS Walk, standing strong by our healthcare pillar. If you're in Fort Lauderdale on March 21st, we invite you to join us at the Florida AIDS Walk. Register our team at www.faw.lgbt.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, Pride Feet. Our magazine events and television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voices as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Glen Weinzimer. He has been a South Florida advocate for over 30 years, raising awareness and more than $16 million for the HIV/AIDS community over the last 20 years. He is also a travel director and corporate evening planner. Welcome to the show, Glen, you old queen. How you doing? Who you screwing?
Oh, the list is so long. I wrote everything in pencil so that the names of people will not be seen after I erase them. I'm good. I've just been traveling a lot and haven't been back on the show. And
well, I'm so glad. I've missed you, girl. I'm so glad to see you tonight.
I missed you too, and the rest of everyone, even those that don't really know. But yes, I'm happy to be back. and fill this void.
Let's welcome anchor Brian Bender. Brian is a lifelong South Floridian, Broward County teacher, community volunteer, and leader on the Education Advisory Board of Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the show, Brian. How you doing, girl?
Girl, I am so happy to be here tonight. I am so happy to discuss the news. We got a lot to talk about. I want to dish with everybody, and I'm so happy to be sitting next to you because you
Glenn.
are
My name is Glenn.
Yeah.
Because I know it's not there. It's not as easy for you to read.
I just have to say, I love how you and my favorite Futurama character share a name.
I love it. Bender, right?
That's right.
Right, yeah. Bender over, Bender. There's so much you could do with that. I was on an all-night Bender with Brian Bender. So
Never gets
I've
old.
never heard that before.
Let's welcome anchor Larry Farver. Larry has over 20 years of experience in human resources, acting, film, radio, TV, live events, parade float design, production, and casting. He's also a board member of the West Side Association. Larry, the 49th annual Broadway Waterway cleanup will be held on March 7th. So tell me, Larry, what's happening out?
Absolutely, Alex. Well, volunteers are invited to join the 49th annual Broward County Waterway cleanup on Saturday, March 7th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Coahatchee Park Boat Ramp. Organized by Marine Industries Association of South Florida, this long-running environmental initiative welcomes participants of all experience levels, so no boat required. Volunteers must register online in advance, and participants under 18 must meet age requirements. Help protect our local waterways, remove debris, and support a cleaner, healthier ecosystem. Gather your friends, wear comfortable clothing, and make a positive community impact. More details and registration information at waterwaycleanup.org or on the wiltonmatters.gov website under events. I participated in this event in the last few years. I think, I've always been sensitive to the environment. My parents, in their own way, were environmentalists before it became a thing. So I think it kind of trickled down. But I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good way to get out and do what you can. It's really not too strenuous. There are some details available where you can ride on a boat if you get there early enough. They provide a boat and they have someone, guiding the boat.
The captain?
No, I wish I had a boat. One of these days, it's one of my dreams. But the thing is, it's a lot of fun. And I don't want to give too much away, but there are, the refreshments and some snacks to keep you hydrated. Also free t-shirts if you participate. And at the end, they have a waterway cleanup bash at a marina locally. So it's a lot of fun. And I encourage people to participate.
Turtle
A
soup?
lot of fun. Turtle soup. Get turtle soup.
Oh my goodness.
We're trying to preserve the environment.
We're trying to take care of turtles, and we just got out of turtle season, and it's an environmental issue, so I just thought it would be funny to say turtle soup.
Mock turtle soup. Mock turtle soup.
Mock turtle soup.
Okay,
you missed the mock because you were so focused on the heart of what I said. You called tomato base.
Glenn, this is all fascinating cuisine, but Larry, isn't it so important to do more with our waterways in South Florida? Because we forget about actually how important our waterway environment is.
And certainly, not only Wilton Manors, but the greater Fort Lauderdale and Miami area, we're surrounded by waterways.
Exactly.
And in time, I think it's going to become more imperative. Again, without getting political, but I will. The right administration doesn't care about the Everglades. They'll probably try to push the limits and go 20 or 30 or 50 miles in just in the name of making a profit. So we need to protect locally first, but then, work with our allies and certainly protect the Everglades in a greater capacity and the oceans.
What's sad is that no matter where you travel around the world, you see the same issue.
Yeah.
If you're on the water, you see bottles and plastic bags. And
Microplastics are getting into the ecosystem, including human beings.
Yeah, I was about to say they're getting into our DNA structure.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe I'm talking above my pay grade DNA structure. What am I talking about? They're getting into our bodies, and it's not good for us. And people are getting cancers. And
not to sound like a hippie for a second, I will, but it doesn't just affect us as people. what we put into our waterways goes into our oceans right here. And Florida has the third largest coral reef in the world, and over 90% of it's dead right now. So we need to do so much more to prevent pollution getting into the ocean from our waterways. So I love this so much, Larry. And, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the 49th Annual Broward County Waterway Cleanup on March 7th. Let's welcome anchor Scott Russell. Scott is the executive director of One Hand Care, and he brings both heart and receipts. With 30-plus years of experience leading teams, growing businesses, and mentoring talent, Scott has made a career out of building momentum and making things better. Today, he's using that energy to grow One Hand Care's reach and create inclusive wellness experiences that feel real, uplifting, and community-powered, with that unmistakable South Florida spirit. Scott, Align 4 Elements Waterfront Wellness Festival returns on March 7th. Tell me, what's happening out?
Line 4 Element returns for the second year on March 7th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Sanctuary Church, Fort Lauderdale. The Golden Hour Waterfront Wellness Festival opens a one-night immersion reset blending music, movement, art, and nervous system regulation. Guests can experience yoga, Tai Chi, breathwork, ecstatic dance, meditation, live performances, and interactive experiences across multiple curated zones. The Element Wellness Lounge featuring a sauna and cold plunge is available as an option add-on. Food and refreshments will be available for purchase. Presented by One Hand Care with support from community sponsors and partners. More details at align4elements.org. So this is our second annual event. We did one last year, same time. We did a planetary alignment last year. It really is an immersion retreat. You escape from 95. We've got live music. We've got featured vocalists. We've got the Tai Chi. And you can experience all these workshops as you walk through the evening as the sun goes down on the river. Hopefully it'll be cleaned up from you since you were just there.
I hope so.
Now, before everyone jumps in, let's say, first off, welcome as your first time on,
Thank
Scott.
you.
And so tell us a little bit more about, so you're the executive director of One Hand Care.
Yes.
What is that? And this is an event connected to
Yeah, but actually I'm the volunteer executive director. So One Hand Care basically is a nonprofit that specializes incorporating not traditional medicine as well as, but holistic and the whole community and bringing it back. We have 3 to 4 workshops a week, a pay basis. We've got one going on this evening with Reiki masters. We've done sound bowls. We've got breath work. So it really brings that holistic experience in addition to the medical practice.
I love that. I would love to give you a round of applause, but with one hand, in Eastern tradition.
That is
what is
Wait,
the sound
we can
of,
do it together.
No, but what is the sound of a one hand clapping? So I'm just
well,
trying
it's a one hand encompassing everything, which
Oh,
is so
I
we've got
love
the wellness, we've got the nonprofit,
Yes.
and we've basically it all incorporates for the community going forward.
I love that. That's
How long
really
is,
amazing.
do you know how long the organization
Yeah,
is?
3 years. It was founded by Dr. Hussein Anand, and it basically has just grown and grown and grown. Last year we had about 220 attendees at the festival. This year we're looking at 300 to 50 to
That's
400
fantastic.
people.
Well, you're a great ambassador for it because you look very healthy. And so
Thank
it
you.
works out. I'm sure you draw a lot of people into
Peptides.
the event. We'll talk about it after the show.
Also, you were saying
Thank
one hand clapping, and then this one did such a good clap back to that. And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Align 4 Elements Waterfront
Thank you.
Wellness
Nicely
Festival
done.
on March 7th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Alex Morash. Alex has served as editor-in-chief of Options Magazine, media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force, and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Welcome to the show, Alex. It is a pleasure to see you and that you're our lead anchor for tonight, which is very
I
exciting.
know the number of people I had to poison to get this gig tonight. Let me tell you,
I know, 'cause
Queen.
I was supposed
My
to be sitting
goodness.
on the other side of the table, and I got to move this much closer to you because of all the death.
It's like Miss Richmond 1984. Remember, she got to win
yes.
because literally everyone else in America got food poisoning.
It happened. But we're glad you're here.
I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up students and youth culture. No, a trans lawmaker didn't call porn educational. A Minnesota Democratic lawmaker is pushing back against claims that she described pornography as educational for LGBTQ youth, saying her remarks were misrepresented. Lee Fink, a trans lawmaker, faced criticisms from right-wing media outlets after opposing HF 1434, an age verification bill debated in a House committee last week. The proposal would require internet service providers hosting material that is deemed harmful to minors to introduce age check. During the debate, Fink voiced concern that such legislation could be used to censor a broad range of topics, including queer issues and sex education, while stating support for protecting minors from explicit content. She argued the bill must not restrict, quote, content that is designed for people under 18 to educate them about themselves, their lives, their community, end quote. She also warned that some might label the existence of transgendered youth as inappropriate. Several outlets interpreted her comments as suggesting pornography could be educational. Fink later rejected these claims, accusing the, quote, national right-wing lie machine, end quote, of distorting her words. Screenshots she shared from Grok, the AI chatbot owned by Elon Musk's company, stated Fink did not directly defend pornography as an educational tool, and highlighted her concerns about potential misuse of such laws. Age verification policies remain a contentious issue globally, with debates balancing child safety and digital privacy. Well, I just want to first start off, many people know that I used to be a researcher at Media Matters, where all we did was deal with the right-wing media. Yeah, they lie. They love to go after queer people, trans people, and misrepresent what we say. They love to just completely come out with nonsense. So I'm not surprised that happened. This also is like one of the most scariest issues facing us right now, outside of, the entire monstrosity of Donald Trump. Let's just have a fever dream that he doesn't exist for 2 seconds. Trying to create all these new age verification laws is not really about protecting kids. Let's just go right there. It's not. It's about trying to find new ways to censor and control people on the internet. Whether they're trying to do this thing with the IDs, which is scary, but this is horrifying. Like, what is inappropriate for a provider to control on their systems? If we as Queer Knows Tonight, are we adult and inappropriate? We say all sorts of crazy fun stuff. It's not pornography, but someone could make that allegation.
Well, in Hungary, Viktor Orban, banned pride parades because he said that they were pornographic. He said that they, damaged the morale of the country. It was poisoning young people's minds. So I think I would say this is a slippery slope. It's not even a slippery slope. This is just a backdoor way of trying to erase LGBTQ plus people. And if kids can't learn about themselves, in the public library, because librarians have to disclose the books that are, being released. If students can't learn about themselves, in an ecosystem that is supposed to be about learning, which is the internet, where do they have to go? They really want to eliminate, identities of people, or eliminate language that helps people describe more accurately who they are.
I think it's really important too, especially with the emergence of AI being in the headlines every day, that we also look at, protected information, no matter what the party lines, and, keep it nonpartisan, to be able to potentially entrap people, whether it's LGBT people or other groups. It's opening up a big Pandora's box.
Right. And I think that the story itself is that they took her words and completely miscued them. And if you read the article of what she said, there's the word pornification.
Pornification of America.
Great ideas, Glenn.
I know, I come up with them, and now I own it. But there isn't that lewd behavior or speech in what she said. They're just twisting it. Going back to your AI comment.
Yes.
Right now I saw, which looked like fun, you could record your voice and then you can sing to any song that they want you to sing to.
Exactly.
So they could put stuff out there and create what she didn't say. And it's so hard to tell the difference between a real story and a fake story. Any one of us could be, like right now, I'm not even here. But yet with AI, I can be.
Even before AI, the far right, they cut and edited ways to destroy Acorn back over 20 years ago. Then they went after Planned Parenthood, tried to claim all sorts of crap. This is just a classic thing that they're constantly doing.
Yes. Well, they know that their acolytes and their followers aren't going to do any research to back it up. They're going to say, oh, this person, this trans lawmaker is, or they won't say trans lawmaker, they'll say something much worse amongst themselves. They're going to say they're supporting pornography, and they're going to leave it at that. They're not going to go for the nuance. It doesn't matter that she took a screenshot of Grok. It doesn't matter that the chatbot agreed that she didn't do anything horrible. That doesn't matter, because once you have to go back with facts, people aren't interested in those. So, so that's the first thing they hear is what they hear.
I have to push back, Brian. Acolyte is way too cool to describe a right winger. Just lemming.
Lemming.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
I'm Glen Weinzimer, and let's queer up the worldview. Malaysia blocks Grindr, Blued. More LGBTQ plus apps may face restrictions under new legal review. Malaysia has blocked the dating apps Grindr and Blued and is considering further measures that could curb other queer dating platforms available through app stores. Grindr and Blued are no longer accessible in the country. Communications Minister Fahim Fadzil announced the decision on February 25th. He said, quote, control over applications on platforms such as Google Play and Apple Store is subject to regulations and policies set by the said platform providers. Since both applications are owned by foreign companies operating outside of Malaysia, end quote. Fadzil also confirmed that the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission had not received any requests to remove the mobile app versions. Authorities say that MCMC is examining legal measures targeting apps that violate local laws, including, quote, those that spread lewd or immoral content, exploitation, abuse, scams, exploiting children, or threats towards public policy, end quote. LGBTQ plus dating apps fall within the category under review. Same-sex activity remains illegal in Malaysia under federal law and state-level Sharia law. Penalties can include imprisonment, caning, fines, and deportation. Anal sex between consenting adults is punishable by up to 20 years in prison. Note to self, cancel your trip to Malaysia.
Absolutely.
And get it and renew your IP, your VPN address if you're going to be traveling to that area of the world.
Is it 20 years for anal sex per offense?
Well, that was my next question.
Because how many decades are we all going to be there?
We won't
Centuries.
We won't live long enough to fulfill our sentence. But we might get action in prison.
Oh my.
You know, this might be just somebody's intervention plan on themselves. You know, probably somebody who's making this decision high up in the government is probably a closeted gay person, probably feels very guilty about wanting to hook up with other men.
He volunteers at the prison on weekends.
Right, exactly. So 20 years with him. What he's probably doing, or whoever this person is trying to make it illegal for everybody because they're trying to curb their own behavior. It's very similar. You know, whenever you have fundamentalists, you know, they try to take a right away for everybody because they can't deal with their own independence and their own self-responsibility. So
hopefully we don't see any types of entrapment, especially for people in the LGBTQ community.
Oh, you know that's going to
happen.
But it's, you know, it's something that hopefully the travel companies or the cruise lines are putting it out there.
Warn about it.
Oh, yeah.
Or you should put out an advisory, you know, don't travel to this part of the world if you're looking to hook up or looking to be outwardly gay in any expression.
Because I'm not,
safe.
I'd hate to think about, depending on our current administration, coming and trying to get one of us out of there if we were in that predicament.
They wouldn't.
They
would not come out.
They would say we did something lewd and irresponsible, and we deserved it.
But thank you, Brian, for calling out fundamentalism instead of trying to go after a particular religion. But I think sometimes when we talk about these stories, people say, oh, well, we should blame that particular religion, like Islam, and I'm just like, you know, when I look at it in America, like who's defending queer people, I see actually a lot of elected Muslims compared to the Christians sometimes. I'm like, they're the ones causing me all the grief lately.
Absolutely. You know, there's crazy people in every religion. There's going to be fundamentalists in every religion. And I think as gay people, we become very good at reading nuance. We look for, even if we don't realize it, we kind of study people subconsciously or unconsciously to see if they're safe or not. So I can feel very safe around a religious person as long as they're not a crazy religious person.
Right.
You have your deeply held religious beliefs, that's great. As long as you're not disguising your hate as religious beliefs, keep believing, that's great. I think it makes the world a much more fabulous place if you believe something.
And not using religion and making it, you know, weaponization
as a weapon.
Of your religion.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Well, thank you for agreeing with me. I think I made a good point there.
Very good.
Yes, thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you. And, you know, I also learned something today. I'd never heard of blue or blued before, so now I've learned something new.
Well, if you lived in Malaysia...
Googled it.
You will not be using it in Malaysia.
I guess.
I'm Brian Bender, and let's queer up gay culture. Toby and Mikey Perryman-Payne described alleged drugging and assault during LA trip. Married influencers Toby and Mikey Perryman-Payne, known online as Toby's Home, have shared a video describing an alleged assault during a past trip to Los Angeles. The couple, recognized for posting home renovation and organization content, told followers they were drugged after a night out in West Hollywood. In September of 2024, Toby said in the video, quote, "When we were in LA in September 2024, we went for dinner in West Hollywood and then went to a bar afterward. We ordered one drink and then completely blacked out. I then woke up in a completely strange place with a person I didn't recognize, and I had been completely stripped of all my clothes," end quote. Toby said he realized he was surrounded by weapons and feared for Mikey's safety. He explained that he persuaded the individual present to let him leave the room, where he found Mikey unconscious. Mikey said that Toby's quick thinking saved both of them, and they managed to get out. The couple said the experience left a lasting emotional impact, resulting in them avoiding some social situations. Toby said, quote, "This year, we're taking our power back. We're taking control of things and not letting stupid idiots ruin our existence," end quote. Well, I just want to say that I am so sorry if this is really the case, and if they're not just saying this, which I have no reason otherwise to think that way. I'm really sorry that happened. Nobody should have to go through anything that demeans, puts themselves in danger, puts themselves in a situation where you could possibly lose your life or be injured or hurt. And all I have to say is I'm so sorry.
So there's a big difference between being scared and actually. I'm not saying being scared is bad or wrong, but like the only thing that make me just want to like maybe hold these little twinks' hands and like explain some things to the world is like, one, like, who hasn't woken up after blacking out naked in some random stranger's house as a gay in West Hollywood? Just like, let's just start there. But also, like, the fact that one of them said the other one had quick thinking, I'm like, well, maybe you were drugged, maybe, but like, normally if you're drugged, you're not going to wake up that quickly. That's the one thing.
And as terrible as this whole situation was, Alex, one has to wonder about the closure. If they were able to escape, I would like to know, just out of curiosity, were they able to apprehend the people that held them captive?
Well, he never said they were held captive. Why would you be able? Why did he let you go get your boyfriend and leave, or husband, I should say?
But
there's more to the there's more to the story we're not getting. I agree. I'm glad they're getting their power back.
We look at
there's more to that story.
But you look at the one time beloved Bill Cosby, that some of us grew up watching the shows, or I had a record my parents bought me and a read-along book. And then later on, he drugged people.
Oh, and so I'm not saying that these boys are lying. I'm saying maybe a horrible thing happened. Maybe they just got scared and didn't realize it. It happens. Sometimes you.
But I would like to know closure that maybe the person that got drugged them.
Right. Like I'd like to see
from the one drink at the Hollywood bar.
Hopefully they reported it to the police.
Exactly.
Yes.
Was there an investigation? Did they report it afterwards? What was the follow-up to this? Because you're making a statement 2 years later, but there isn't a detective on the case that's still trying to solve anything. And the other thing is, note to self, if you're going to get drugged and raped, make sure you wear a sticker or some kind of sign that says, please videotape me so I can see the things I never thought I could do.
Magic
marker. Oh my goodness. Well,
we don't know if there was
go in there.
We don't know. We don't know if any sex happened.
Views discussed on this panel are solely those who say about
If it's true, though, this is frightening. But
again, serious point too, you don't want somebody who's out drugging people in the bars, whether it's in.
If there's big drug, but this is where it also gets into a scary thing. When I think it's good that they're telling the story, whether or not it was
absolutely,
and it gets very murky and hard to figure out when you've drank too much alcohol versus when you've been drugged. It's very hard to figure that difference out. And for young people that are new to experiencing alcohol in a nightclub, that actually is a big part that I hope people learn from this story. Maybe this happened. Maybe they drank more than they realized. You don't know.
They just regretted their decision while they were drunk.
They might not have known. Right. I have certainly, when I was younger, didn't realize I drank too much. Woke up the next day and be like, "What?
These aren't 12-year-olds.
You don't know.
These aren't 18-year-olds. These are already in their 20s. They have a podcast. They're clearly open and
kids don't start drinking until they're 25.
But the point is, that's what they're living on. for their renovation story.
Right.
So, they have a platform, and
They do, and they are very attractive on that platform.
I'm Larry Farver, and let's queer up the USA view. Trump administration removes LGBTQ questions from federal surveys. A new report from the Williams Institute says that hundreds of federal surveys have removed questions related to sexual orientation and gender identity. The researchers attribute the changes to executive orders presented by President Trump. The report states that many deletions were made through non-substantive change requests, meaning they lacked valid justification or supporting evidence. Only a small number followed the formal notice and comment process. Researchers found that most removals targeted gender identity questions, citing compliance with the executive order titled Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government. Signed January 20th, 2025. The Williams Institute warns the impact could be significant for public policy and research. According to the lead author, Lauren Bouton, quote, federal data on sexual orientation and gender identity are essential for understanding LGBTQ populations in the United States. This data allows us to identify disparities in health, economics, and exposure to violence, end quote. Co-author Alana Redfield added, quote, reliable data collection is fundamental to how the federal government identifies and responds to community needs, end quote. The removals follow broader actions affecting LGBTQ visibility. Well, again, right now with the right-wing administration, it should not be a surprise, but it's a slippery slope. And we continue to see the erasure of our community, and we have to remain vigilant. We have to get out there and vote. We need to do things like be on Queer News. We need to go out and protest and, make our voices heard. But we're taxpayers, and if they're doing a survey and we're paying for it, we should be represented.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And for years, we were not represented, and we finally are being representative up to this point in history, where you've got this current administration going after not just LGBTQ recognition or showing that we exist, but they're doing this to women by taking away choice and all these other things. And this is just it's not a surprise, like you said. It's not a shocker. This has been going on since his first term, where he wants to eliminate anything that he doesn't believe is morally right, or more importantly, doesn't bring him cash.
Well, I think we should first start with Glenn. You got to really respect the Trump's identification with the regime, not the administration. But seriously, I do want to take one quick second, because people know, as someone who's a research director in my day job with the National, I love to get into is this a good group to be doing this or that, and which group should be doing one sort of reports. The Williams Institute is a rock solid LGBTQ nonprofit think tank, just so people understand. It's based out of UCLA. I love their work. And so when they're doing a report like this, it's not only showing us an important issue, it's a group that knows what they're doing is really looking at this issue. So the fact that they report on this is wonderful, unlike some groups that think they're a think tank when they're not doing their celebrity award shows or whatever. I won't name names. But on the details of this, there's also the scariness of they're doing this without the rulemaking process, the public comments, which is normal. I'm so used to when dealing with anything about the surveys, like the task force back in the day, there was the U.S. Census adding us or not adding us. There was a whole big debate, woo-ha about this. Just doing it via fiat with executive order. And I just want to make sure that, whoever gets to be in power next, if it is anyone ever again, or if he's just going to pickle his head and rule by abstention or whatever, I want them to be making sure they're doing crazy power grabs too. You add queer stuff via fiat too, people. Don't just say, oh, we got to do a rule process and ignore queer people all of a sudden. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Exactly.
I feel your pain and anger.
I like that you said fiat, and it's always under the guise of protecting another population. So you can't have, the internet needs to be protected from predators and kids. Women need to be protected because people are lying about biological identity. So, the name of the executive order is something Orwellian, like protecting women against biological truth. I don't know, biological truth of women and all of that. So it's always about protection, but really what it is about not protecting the LGBTQ community.
Exactly.
It's always at our expense. And I rue the day that, justice is, served for the people in this regime. I'm using the correct terminology.
Thank you. We appreciate you for
And I
saying it.
apologize again for not using the right term.
I rue the day that this regime faces judges, and actually is held accountable. Maybe they won't be held accountable for removing questions about, gender and sexuality. I get that. But for the other crimes that they commit, I pray, I'm being a little religious now maybe, but I pray that, there's somebody upstairs that's keeping score of all of this, and justice really does need to be served through the courts. So.
Karma's a bitch.
Karma's a bitch.
I see that. I was so wordy about it. I should have just said karma's a bitch, and
Exactly.
those judges are gonna get you.
And they best better hope that whoever prosecutes them never reads up on the Jacobin.
I'm Scott Russell, and let's queer up trans rights. State of the Union puts transgender youth and gender-affirming care back at the center of U.S. debate. President Donald Trump used Tuesday night's State of the Union address to spotlight a Virginia teen's story, casting transgender issues at the center of a deeply divided political debate. During the speech, Trump declared the U.S. was once a dead country, now the hottest in the world, and asserted, quote, "We ended DEI in America," unquote. The White House invited Michelle Blair and her child Sage to attend. Blair's story has drawn national attention following a 2023 lawsuit filed by Michelle Blair against the Potomac County School Board. The suit alleges that the district failed to disclose information about Sage, identifying as male. According to reporting by West, Michelle Blair claimed that the school's alleged withholding of this information contributed to Sage running away across state lines, later experiencing abuse. The case remains ongoing. Trump referenced, quote, Sage's harrowing story, accusing school officials of secretly socially transitioning Sage without parental knowledge. Trump urged Congress to act, saying, quote, "No state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them into a new gender against the parents' will. We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately," unquote. The Blair family has supported Sage's law in Virginia, which would require parental notification if a student discloses transgender. Civil rights groups called the proposal a forced outlying measure. Interesting dilemma. You've got a person that hopefully was transitioning and was pulled back and revoked. I think it's a travesty that he or she, whatever the case may be, and it had a direction, and it was intervened from outside of the realm.
And if you look at her on that clip, she does not look like she's there by free will.
No.
She doesn't you can tell she's not smiling, she's not part of the attention. And she ran away to be a boy. So to say they saved her, they didn't save her. They just imprisoned her into a body that she doesn't believe she belongs in.
They needed a test case.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about her story and where she is in this journey. But it was heart wrenching because I did watch part of the State of the Union. I was not going to watch it, but I want to see how he would blunder it and lie. And then this came up in the middle of it, and I was taken away by the fact that just looking at her, I was like, somebody needs to save her.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pick her up and run her out of there.
And looking at some of the backstory behind the scenes, aside from watching the State of the Union also, I have to say that, according to some of the research I did, Sage's parents were no longer in her life. I think her father passed away, the mother is absent. So the paternal grandmother adopted her. Michelle adopted her. And who knows, what a grandmother's influence can be of perhaps an older generation. Mm-hmm. But there were also accounts that Sage, had access to using the boys' room in the school. Now, one of the things you have to look at too, and I think it's not a black or white issue, there's going to be a small number of people who maybe start the trans process. So whether you're biologically a male or female or identify as one of those, statistics show that people who detrans, so to speak, the range of percentages may be 1% to 9%. And that's true for anything. There are people who experiment with being gay or lesbian.
And I don't think they make the assumption, or they make an allegation that she was on any kind of meds, because from the sounds of it is that she identified as a boy in school. Yeah. The school respected that.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be honest, listening to this story, it sounds like Sage was trying to identify as male, and One, yes. What that State of the Union was clearly a kidnapping of a kid. At the end of the day, this idea that the parents want to have these rights. I used to be a substitute teacher once, and occasionally I would deal with stories where kids would be crying in the counselor's office. Please do not make me go back home. My father will beat me for being gay again. The state has every right to rip kids away from abusive parents, Donald. It's disgusting what we're seeing right now. This entire story disgusts me because we don't even know how to talk about this kid because we're not sure what the parents and what Donald Trump and the administration are trying to do with this child. It is absolutely horrific to see this happening in the United States.
I hate to call it a dog and pony show, but that's
it is a
what
dog and pony show.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. You know, there's two things happening here. There's the personal family dynamics of this person known as Sage, the grandmother, the parents being out of the picture, and then to be brought up on one of the largest platforms. I know we are the largest LGBTQ platform in the world, but the largest platform in the country, which is a State of the Union. And to sit there, and if you see this person known as Sage, I want to be very respectful, and I don't know necessarily this person is presenting female, but I don't know if that person wants to be presenting female, and this person is rolling their eyes, it seemed, was doing one of those little, what the kids do where they clap. It's like, it's not a full...
Good observation.
One of those, and I felt really bad for this person, and nobody should have to be put up, like you said, as a, or somebody here said it, I heard it, dog and pony show, and to be held up as somebody who could be detransitioned. And you see, it's not something that people are inherently born with. If this person known as Sage can do it, so can everybody. And I'm using air quotes on that one. It's very sad. And I feel like the trauma that is being inflicted on this person is going to take many, many years for that person to unravel. And I hope that they're able to get away from their abusers as soon as they're able to.
Yeah. And, the last thing I'll say is, Sage, if you're unlikely to be watching this, be whatever you want to be. You want to try being a boy for a year. You don't want to be a boy after a year. You want to be a girl for a year. Try it. Have fun. That's half the fun of being young, is to experiment and do whatever you want. Donald, the rest of the people that are trying to make you do whatever it is, they're fucking assholes. Don't listen to any of them, all right? LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Hotspots magazine serves up cozy comfort food in the new issue out today. Our Hotspots Happening Out LGBTQ lifestyle magazine, Hotspots, is back with a feature on savory, satisfying meal ideas, perfect for cooler days. The feature spotlights pearl couscous as a versatile pantry staple, highlighting comforting dishes like Italian penicillin soup and simple lemon butter pearl couscous. Whether you're craving cozy comfort food or quick, elegant meals, Hotspots has delicious inspiration to warm your table this season. This feature story and many more are included in your free copy of the issue of Hotspots magazine on stands today with that amazingly hot boy. Look at that. Yes, keep showing it, producer. That's amazing. Oh, I always love Hotspots. I always love the half-naked boys. I love to say I look at the food, but I just look at the boys.
Well, I was saying before this, he could do anything he wants with my couscous because that guy is very hot. And about the Italian penicillin soup,
I stole that from the Jews.
Like a matzo
ball.
I wish it were that easy to just whip something up in the kitchen and not need to get real penicillin.
Right. Well, it reminded me that I need to resubscribe to Bon Appetit.
Yeah. Okay. Martha Stewart Living?
Yes, that too. Because this is not my go-to spot for actually finding recipes, but if you can look like the cover model, I mean, sure,
absolutely.
why not?
Do you think he eats
Plus,
that
you can whip up your own penicillin for the cover model.
He can say
exactly.
I don't know.
I don't think he can.
I don't know.
He can say whatever he wants.
He may have won.
Sweet things in my ear all night long.
He can lemon butter me all he wants. Leave me to the next morning.
The gays are gaying it up in here, and just so you all know, imagine how they had to practice couscous to say it properly.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. MAGA influencer claims headphones can change sexual orientation. Transphobic MAGA influencer Ian Miles Chung is facing criticism after falsely claiming that using headphones can turn straight people gay. Chung misrepresented a Netherlands-based study that examined chemicals found in headphone materials. The study analyzed 81 headphone models sold in Central Europe and identified chemical agents that may pose long-term public health risks. researchers warned of possible links to cancer, reproductive harm, and chronic illness, but made no mention of sexual orientation or feminizing men. Despite this, Chung wrote on Twitter, quote, "Your headphones are making you gay," end quote. So, note to self, sell all my headphones.
Exactly.
Because well, for the cancer, forget about turning people gay.
I always wondered why I was gay, and I realized it's because my mother always put headphones on
And
me
she
when
played,
I was a little kid.
and she
did
played
it.
It's
So I did
Raining
it.
Men. So
It's-
of course
Over and over
you were
and over.
brainwashed as well as poisoned.
Or the village
Absolutely.
people.
Or the village
It could be
people.
the village people.
Well, our president loves the village people.
Yeah.
He does.
He does.
He does. He really does.
Someone needs to call out the visuals here. We just had a beautiful half-naked man on the screen, and then that thing that called itself a MAGA influencer. No one wants you to be gay, dear. Don't worry. Just put the
I didn't
headphones.
Put the
agree with
headphones
that.
back on.
Superficial.
And I don't even
When you're a MAGA influencer, it's acceptable to you.
I don't like to poo-poo people's looks. I like to lift people up, and that first guy was hot. I just have to be honest.
And he didn't even need to be lifted up.
Right. He can lift me up, actually.
Don't
But-
lift that boy down.
Right, yeah. But I do have to say, if you're going to be that ugly about your accusations about what makes people gay and not, your looks are open season, and I do have to say, you look like you got exposed to some chemicals that made you an awful person.
That face could be on the Spirit of Halloween for
Oh,
2026 mask.
Yeah, it's like small head, bigger
Yes.
body. Like he just
But it goes
looked like
back.
he had something.
It goes back to this. This doesn't turn people gay.
Not at
because
all.
if that was the case, there'd be no straight people left. Everyone, every business person I see on an airplane is
Has
walking around with earpods or iPhones or
But they're also
headsets.
on Grindr, so they're
well, that's
gay.
true.
So maybe it's the head.
The guy that was
are
tapping
doing it.
under
Could very well be.
the stall in the bathroom at the
Larry
airport.
Craig.
Yes.
Where he had a wide stance.
He did have a wide stance. Well,
especially on the
it
toilet.
tickled someone's fancy.
It certainly did. LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up lesbian and queer women. Francine Beppu of The Real L Word dies at 43. Family mourns beloved reality TV figure. Francine Beppu, known for appearing on The Real L Word, has died at 43. A family spokesperson confirmed the news to TMZ. Beppu passed away at her home in Honolulu. The cause of death has not been disclosed. In a statement, her family said they were, quote, deeply grateful to know how cherished she was and how brightly she will continue to shine, end quote. They requested privacy while grieving and said plans for a celebration of life will be announced later. Beppu joined the series in 2011 for its second season, appearing alongside then-girlfriend Claire Campbell Mosley. I don't know what it is today, but I'm getting all the sad ones, and I just want to say I'm so sorry for the community's loss. I'm so sorry that this person at 43 years old passed away, and I'm sure that she will be missed. And I never watched this show. I heard about it a few times, never watched it, but I do want to say that, you know, a loss of life for somebody so young is always tragic, no matter what the cause is. And again, I'm going to say for the second story, I'm so sorry to any friends and family that are affected by the loss. So.
Exactly. Like, I don't know, when we don't know the cause of death, there's always a lot of assumptions. So I want to flip the script for a second on that and be like, you know what? This is horrific. And also, like, the number of people in their 30s and 40s dying of cancer lately has been starting to rise.
Don't
so, like,
scare me.
But no, seriously, because people, they're going to make an assumption, and maybe it is something more, like, substance-like, but, like, it could also be cancer.
Or
these days. You really
hereditary.
have
You don't know.
you have no idea what could
don't
happen
know.
with this stuff.
1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Heated rivalry fans can now book the infamous Meshuggah cottage seen in episode 6 on Airbnb. Heated rivalry fans can now stay at the drama's infamous cottage after the Berlokin property became available on Airbnb. The Meshuggah Canada villa opens to guests on March 3rd. The 3-bedroom cottage features king-size beds, an open-plan kitchen, and wilderness views featured in episode 6. The cabin hosts key scenes between Shane Hollander and Ilya Rozanov. An Airbnb spokesperson hints that, quote, a subtle homage hidden in the pricing, end quote. Rates start at only at $250 Canadian or about $180 US per night. Well, it's certainly a deal. That place is gorgeous. I'd go up in a second. Now you're going to wonder, and I have to catch up and binge watch, but I'm wondering, hearing what I've heard about the show, how many people are going to recreate some of the scenes in that place?
Oh, they won't be
Really?
as hot as the show, though.
No, not on the countertop or something like that.
I do have to say, though, even as a teacher and my poor salary, I could still afford to stay there. So that's actually
There you
right.
go.
Check the cleaning fee.
deal.
Check the cleaning fee.
I have
the
a feeling that it's
cleaning.
more
All
like
inclusive now.
$1,800 a night, and they're gonna. There's
So
no
you
way
think
you get a
they're
house
lying?
that big.
Do you think
I-
they're
No, I
just
think
trying
it's a
to create-
typo. I
That
don't believe
seems
that.
low to me.
And I didn't have
I've got
time to look it
Airbnbs.
up.
That's
Well,
And nobody goes in that house.
no.
No,
You'd be
My
40.
first thought
It's
is
like $5,000.
maybe
Maybe.
I want to know if this was on Airbnb before the show, and that's how the show got this space. That would be hilarious. Because you never know.
Perfect place for a gay story.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, but at the same time, like my other thoughts are like, one, the glass everyone can see in thing. That's the most
that's what
They're in
great
the woods.
upper middle class white
Not
thing
a
I've
coop.
ever seen.
Not necessarily my whole house,
Have you
my
watched
whole
it?
class.
Have you watched the show?
No, it's
Well,
on my
hopefully it's
list.
not
We'll
okay.
get
I haven't
to
seen it
it.
either.
I hope
It's
that
private.
Yeah.
There's woods
I would
all
imagine
around it.
It's better
and
that it's not private for some people.
Well, yes, but
Exactly.
that's
Like,
why you.
They like that.
the one last observation I'll make though is when we think of all the people that are going to reenact the scenes, it's going to be straight women hoping their straight men interact, redo it with them. That's my suspicion.
You're
Interesting.
twisted.
Twisted
all
sister.
those
Twisted-
cheaters.
Twisted sister.
I'm getting permission to put a permanent
Well-
tripod and a camera outside.
Well, get on,
so it can-
guys.
Very
you gotta-
voyeuristic.
That'd be the only reason we go up there is to set it up so we can see other people live it.
Well, you can start booking March 3rd.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up gay culture. Luke Evans enters his Rocky Horror era, calls Broadway debut a dream, quote unquote. Actor Luke Evans is returning to theater roots with a Broadway debut in the revival of the Rocky Horror Show at Studio 54. Cast as Dr. Frankenfurter, Evans described the moment as a career milestone, saying, quote, "If you come from the theater, you know everyone's dream really is to do Broadway at least once. I finally got my moment in the most insane role I could ever imagine doing," unquote. Best known to LGBTQ audiences for roles in The Beauty and the Beast, Pinocchio, and 9 Perfect Strangers. Evans is also reflected on Disney's upcoming live-action Gaston project. Fans can see Evans on Broadway beginning in late April. Who doesn't want to see that?
And isn't Frankenfurter another word for hot dogs?
Well, I think it's a
And
large
that
hot
actually
dog.
played into my mind. I want a hot dog really
Spicy
And you got Pinocchio in there as well. I mean, everything's growing in this
yes,
one.
I'm loving that. So
I think he'd do a better Rocky personally.
really,
You know what,
makes you
ma-
feel that way?
I just like to see men not wear clothes.
Oh,
Oh, that might work.
I'd like to see him in the Gaston project.
The gay stoner.
Yes, yes.
It's always classic.
I'd like to just see him somewhere shirtless, maybe. So anyway.
Well, it might be your time now.
Yeah.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Alex Morash, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, Glen Weinzimer, Brian Bender, Larry Farver, and Scott Russell. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.
Good night.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBT